Understanding the difference between being actually depressed or just appropriately sad is incredibly important. In this video, we're going to talk about that. What's going on, guys? My name is Noah and I am a depression survivor. I feel like that's the most important thing I can possibly share with you today, is that I am someone who has battled and worked through clinical depression, treatment-resistant depression. And if you'd like to know my story, please feel free to read the description below. It edifies me a fair bit. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between being depressed and just being down and sad. We're going to try to help you distinguish which of the two you may be. One thing I did want to add right off the bat is you don't have to wait until you are actually formally depressed to start making some changes in your life that could elicit a much better day-to-day quality of existence, right? So if you're not even sure, but you're thinking about it, clearly there's some angst in you. You wouldn't watch a video like this, I imagine, if you were feeling 100%. Please implore yourself to start chipping away at the things that we know are going to help mood anyway. Lifestyle, diet, social community, physical exercise, therapy, spirituality, things like that. If you're not in balance, it's gonna make you feel less than optimal. So I just want to encourage you to always charge towards that, regardless of if you're appropriately sad or you're actually depressed. So let's quickly go over some of the characteristics of healthy sadness. You're sad, but you don't have any loss of self-esteem. Self-esteem would be confidence, trust in your own abilities, and your self-respect. You're just down, but you still have good amount of self-love and self-trust. Number two, your negative feelings are simply a reaction to an appropriately sad or disheartening event, aka something triggering like a loss of job, loss of relationship, a major change like moving, something that's going to create a little bit of turmoil, a little bit of inner inflammation. Number three, your feelings don't last for longer than a couple weeks. They go away in an appropriate amount of time. Number four, you're feeling sad and you recognize that, but you don't feel like hopelessness and despair about the future. You don't go that far forward. You stay right in the present where you are and just experience your sadness, but you're not suddenly feeling like there is no hope for anything beyond. Number five, you're able to stay productive in your day-to-day life. You're able to rise to life's demands, whether it be as a parent, as an employee, as a partner, as a friend, as an athlete. You're still showing up with relative ease. And number six, your negative thoughts are realistic negative thoughts. Like you're down because something tangible is going on that you can identify. You're not just feeling overwhelmed, despairing, and hopeless for absolutely no apparent reason for a longer period of time. Hashtag life on life's terms. Now let's talk about some of the characteristics of what may be actual depression. Number one, naturally, we're going to start with a loss of self-esteem. As you start talking, thinking, and behaving very negatively towards yourself. Number two, the way you're behaving, the way you're feeling and thinking are objectively out of proportion with the reality or actuality of your event. Huge dark emotion for relatively small triggers. Or none at all, actually. Number three, these feelings of apathy, these feelings of sadness, this hopelessness, this down, dark cloud over you lasts longer than a couple weeks. It's just lingering. It stays there, and despite your best efforts, or none at all, I suppose, it's not going away. Number four, you feel like things are not going to get better. You start to attach your current mood with your future mood. Catastrophic thinking. You start to not see past the hopelessness and the depressed feeling, and it starts to create a reality for you long term. This was a huge trigger and warning sign for other people when I was depressed. I could not see past my pain. It is a product of struggling with depression, and it's a huge indicator that you probably need some extra help. Number five, you start to lose interest in the things in life that once brought you joy. Work starts to lose its meaning, friendship starts to lose that warm community feeling when you're around it, and basically just all of the things that elicited happiness start to disappear, and you start to feel apathy towards a lot of things. Essentially a withdrawal from your normal day-to-day life experience that once came very natural to you. And number six, your negative thoughts start to get exaggerated and distorted, even though to you they seem perfectly reasonable. This one is easier to figure out if you have someone who can sit down with you and who has your best interest in mind, can tell you, look, you're not behaving like your normal self. You're not thinking clearly. A therapist is a really good outside third party who can look at you with no emotional attachments and kind of help you understand where your thinking has gone wayward and why your thinking has gone wayward. So these are a few of the fundamental differences between sadness and actual depression. If you have any confusion as to whether or not you're actually depressed still, I strongly recommend you fill out some online questionnaires, download some things that you can actually look at and check boxes to, or make an appointment to talk to someone. It is nothing but a sign of strength to take care of yourself mentally if you're starting to regress. And I want to empower you to do that, whether you're male or female, young or old. Depression is not something to take lightly, and it's not something to be ashamed of. It is something that affects so many people, myself included. And like I said, you can borrow someone else's bottom. If you're worried even a little bit that you don't feel quite right, you have permission to go do something about it. You do not have to fester. You don't have to worry any longer if you can get through it or what's going on with you. There's so much help out there. There's so many resources, and it's a good time to be outspoken about the truth going on between your ears. Take it from me, as someone who has been very open and vocal and received so much support here online. Being honest about what you're actually experiencing is huge, and you don't have to carry that burden of depression by yourself. You really, really don't. If you don't feel comfortable with going to a therapist, there are online resources that are going to be available to you as well. Obviously, if you're feeling suicidal or having any sort of dangerous thinking of that nature, go to the hospital, call a suicide hotline, hang in there, be brave. Remember, your damaged brain right now cannot fix your broken mind. You're going to have to trust that you need help and that someone else knows better. And if you don't know where to begin, if you're just like, okay, I'm depressed and I don't know where to begin, know this. You've already begun. You click this video. You are exploring the possibility that you could use some help. And congrats for that, because it's a wonderful, wonderful step in the right direction. There's a lot of online resources. Healingfromdepression.com is a really good place to start. A friend of mine owns that site. I'm not affiliated financially with it. I just really like it. You can also, of course, peruse some of my videos. Katie Morton online is wonderful for mental health stuff. Depression to Expression. There are a lot of people out here trying to help share information and keep you brave while you go through this. And if you've decided after watching this video that you're doing well, you're just appropriately sad, still kudos to you for investigating that. That's a big deal. So many people get these feelings and stuff them. They just don't talk about them. And what a horrible way to live, right? What a sad state to be in if you're struggling, not doing well, and you don't feel like you can talk about it, because it takes a lot of the power out of it, in my opinion. Please consult your physician when it comes to all of this stuff. I am just someone trying to educate you anecdotally through my experiences and through some of the things I have learned surviving depression, building this YouTube channel, working with others, things like that. And know that you are wanted and needed here. If you'd like to reach me personally, check out my Patreon page. And otherwise, thank you for your time. I'm going to put a huge emphasis on making more videos on mental health and mental health recovery, depression, anxiety, depersonalization, addiction, obsession. It's all part of my story, and I want to continue to be open and vocal about it so that we as a community can be healthier and stronger, one video at a time. My name is Noah. Thank you for your time. Stay brave. One day, 1 hour, 1 minute at a time. We can get through what we're going through. I promise. We'll see you in the next one. Adios.